Welcome back, our dear viewers. Now it's time for our daily press review in the breakfast show. But at the beginning, I would like to say good morning to my dear guest in the studio, Mr. Abdel Rahman, our political analyst. Mr. Amr, good morning.
Good morning to you. Pleasure's all mine.
And we start from ElSissi. President ElSissi meets U.S. President Donald Trump in New York. President Abdel Fattah ElSissi met on Monday with U.S. President Donald Trump in New York. During the meeting, the U.S. President said that President ElSissi is a great leader and saved Egypt from turmoil. The U.S. President stressed the keenness of the U.S. administration to activate the frameworks of joint cooperation. Trump also stressed keenness to boost coordination and strategic consultation in the coming period in light of Egypt's pivotal role in the Middle East to maintain stability and security. Meanwhile, President ElSissi stressed Egypt's keenness to boost the distinguished partnership between the two nations. The President said that the meetings with the U.S. President reflect the great understanding between the two nations. The meeting tackled combating terrorism, and the U.S. President praised the Egyptian efforts to combat terrorism. President ElSissi stressed the importance of joint cooperation between Egypt and the U.S. in the field of combating terrorism. The meeting tackled bilateral economic and trade cooperation between the two countries in light of the attractive investment opportunities in Egypt. The meeting also tackled a number of regional files, including the Palestinian cause, the crises in Libya, Syria, and Yemen, as well as the developments in Sudan. For his part, U.S. President Donald Trump praised the achievements during Egypt's presidency of the African Union, including the African Continental Free Trade Area. Of course, a very important meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and President Abdel Fattah ElSissi. How do you see the most important points tackled during the meeting of both leaders?
Well, first, this is a very important meeting, of course, between the president of the most important country and the most important power in the region, and the counterpart, the president of the most important power in the world.
Yeah.
For the time. As for we speak, the relations between the two nations, the American and the Egyptian, is very historic. But on the other side, we have too many issues to discuss. We have too many points of view. Some points of view we are walking together on the same stream, like fighting terrorism, like compacting the powers behind the organization that are terroristic groups. On the other hand, we have differences in opinions. We have differences, I wouldn't say conflicts of interests, but I would say there are different views towards issues within the region.
Yep.
We are against anything that's called the deal of the century, and we have established a very strong and solid situation against this deal. The only power in the whole world that stood against this deal is Egypt, only Egypt.
Yes.
On the other hand, the U.S., of course, the U.S. president's trying to, I wouldn't say pay debts to the Israelis, the Zionist existence, for mutual support in its post. And of course, we have very important elections coming in Tel Aviv in the near future. So this creates a very rich environment to discuss things in a free way of thinking, a free will, taking the decision that just goes along with our own best interests. On the other hand, sharing a very strong path together in the same common views like compacting terrorism.
Yeah. Of course, many important topics were discussed, and still with ElSissi, President ElSissi meets Italian Prime Minister in New York. President Abdel Fattah ElSissi met on Monday with the Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte in New York. President ElSissi congratulated the Italian Prime Minister on his reappointment as Prime Minister of Italy, praising the historical and distinguished relations between the two countries in various fields. The President stressed Egypt's keenness to develop various frameworks of cooperation between Egypt and Italy in various fields, as well as coordination and consultation on regional issues of common concern. For his part, the Italian Prime Minister expressed his country's keenness to strengthen bilateral relations between the two nations and activate the frameworks of the joint cooperation at various levels, especially at the economic and trade levels. The Italian Prime Minister affirmed his country's determination to continue the intensive coordination and consultation with Egypt on regional issues and means of settling crises in the Middle East in light of Egypt's efforts in combating terrorism and enhancing security and stability in the region. The meeting also tackled a number of regional and international issues, including the Palestinian cause, the crisis in Libya and Syria, as well as combating terrorism and illegal immigration. Of course, still with the meetings on the sideline of the 74th round of the UN General Assembly, His Excellency President Sisi met with Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte. How do you see that meeting?
I believe that Egypt is going to the UN with the leadership of Mr. President Abdel Fattah ElSissi,
Yes.
as one of the main players on the political diplomatic arena, with a very important and successful march towards building a very strong country, a very strong economy, a very strong military, a very strong diplomacy. We have, of course, reached the point that no one on the world can discuss our own influence in the region or internationally.
Yes.
Meeting, of course, with the Prime Minister of Italy is very important. We have a very mutual understanding. We have also our differences concerning the Libyan file, especially. We are against any interference in our western borders, whether from Italy or other powers. On the other hand, we have this friendly relations. We have this very important issues to discuss, like the Italian investments in Cairo. This is very important.
Indeed. Moving to Maspero Gate, President Sisi meets Prime Minister of Belgium in New York. President Abdel Fattah Sisi met on Monday with Prime Minister of Belgium Charles Michel in New York. President Sisi congratulated Michel on his election last July as President of the European Council. The President also praised the close relations between Egypt and the EU. And he stressed that Egypt is looking forward to developing these ties in various fields. President Sisi expressed Egypt's keenness to develop cooperation mechanisms with Belgium in all domains, as well as consultations on regional and international issues of common concern. For his part, the Belgian Prime Minister praised the distinguished ties between the two nations, praising the Egyptian role in the Middle East as a central pillar of the peace and stability in the region. The Belgian Prime Minister also expressed his country's keenness to develop bilateral ties in various levels in light of the success achieved by the the Egyptian Economic Reform Program and the steady improvement in the economic indicators in Egypt. The meeting also tackled the Palestinian cause, as well as the combating of terrorism and illegal immigration. Of course, still with the very important meetings held by His Excellency President Sisi in New York, he met with the Belgian Prime Minister. How do you see that meeting?
Belgium is a key country, whether the leadership of the NATO and or the EU leadership. And of course, they can rely on Egypt on maintaining the stability and security in the region. On the other hand, we also share our common understanding and preserving the rights of the Palestinians in the Arabic occupied land. On the other hand, we have too many things in common, politically and diplomatically.
Still with Maspero Gate, where we read President Sisi meets Prime Minister of Norway in New York. President Abdel Fattah Sisi met on Monday with Prime Minister of Norway Erna Solberg in New York. During the meeting, President Sisi praised the friendly ties between the two countries and the development witnessed in these ties during the recent period. The President stressed his keenness to enhance bilateral cooperation with the Norwegian side in various fields, as well as coordination and consultation on issues and files of common concern. For her part, the Norwegian Prime Minister affirmed her country's keenness to strengthen ties with Egypt, pointing to Egypt's pivotal role in maintaining stability in the Middle East. She also expressed her keenness to intensify and strengthen the frameworks of bilateral cooperation between the two countries in light of the distinguished bilateral ties. The meeting also tackled the latest developments in a number of regional issues and files of common concern. The Norwegian Prime Minister pointed out her country's keenness to strengthen cooperation with Egypt to maintain the regional peace and security in the Middle East and Africa. She also praised the Egyptian effort to reach political solutions to various regional crises. Of course, still with the President's meeting in New York and his very important meeting with the Norwegian Prime Minister.
I believe that the leader of Europe and the whole free world is just meeting with President Fattah ElSissi as the new leader of the region. They like to know how he thinks, how he tackle the most important issues that concerning the Egyptian best interests or the mutual interests with Europe.
Yeah. And moving to Al-Akhbar. President Sisi participates in the UN high-level meeting on universal health coverage. President Abdel Fattah Sisi participated on Monday in the UN high-level meeting on universal health coverage under the title, Moving Together to Build a Healthier World. During his speech in the meeting, the President reviewed Egypt's efforts to provide and modernize the health care for the Egyptian people, as well as its commitment to develop the healthcare in the African continent. President Sisi said that in recent years, Egypt has put the citizens' health on its list of priorities, adding that the state has launched 100 Million Healthy Lives initiative to detect patients infected with C virus and non-communicable diseases. The President added that the initiative provides free treatment through governmental treatment centers nationwide. President Sisi said that 100 Million Healthy Lives initiative was praised by the World Health Organization. The President also reviewed other health initiatives in Egypt, including eliminating surgeries waiting list, supporting Egyptian women's health, and treating her loss in newborns. President Sisi said that Egypt is seeking to apply 100 Million Healthy Lives initiative in all of the African countries in light of Egypt's presidency of the AU and in cooperation with the World Health Organization. Of course, one of the main priorities of the Egyptian administration since it did take office is the health of the Egyptian citizen, and since Egypt is heading the African Union now, we have seen also efforts by Egypt to develop that sector in Africa. So how do you see the role here played in Egypt regarding that sector, and how do you see the President's address regarding that issue at New York?
Well, Egypt has set as an example in combating some crucial disease like virus C and other things in the same area. On the other hand, the health file is a very enormous file. We have too many things to accomplish yet to be accomplished. And on the other hand, we have set an example, as I said, in the way and the strategy of facing those problems, this historic problems. The world looking at Egypt as a leader in this file, but on the other hand, we have too many things to do, too many steps to take.
Moving to اليوم السابع. Prime Minister follows up the development of the passport system. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli held a meeting on Monday to follow up the latest developments in the project of developing the passport system. During the meeting, the Prime Minister stressed that the government puts the project of developing passport system on its list of priorities as it is a vital file. He said the project aims to upgrade the whole system of passports electronically within the framework of the digital transformation of all sectors of the state. Dr. Mustafa Madbouli gave his directives to implement the project with high quality in accordance with the scheduled timelines. Cabinet spokesman Councillor Nader Saad said that the system will be implemented in 17 outlets in addition to 165 consulates. He added that the system is scheduled to be completed by June 2020. How do you see these efforts, of course, to develop the whole systems in Egypt? And here we are talking about the passport electronic development.
We're talking about turning into a smart system, a smart village, a smart country. Yep. We can develop our way of thinking towards our own documents, personal, even for work, for license, for investing, for things that goes around our life. We can change our lives by changing the way we administrate our lives.
Yeah. Still with the يوم السابع, and we read the health insurance system prepares hospitals of 5 governorates for the trial operation. Director of the new comprehensive health insurance project, Dr. Ahmed Stubki, announced the start of the preparing of the hospitals in 5 governorates for the trial operation of the new health insurance system. The 5 governorates are South Sinai, Suez, Ismailia, Luxor, and Aswan. Stubki said that the hospitals and the units will have the latest medical equipment and supplies to ensure a distinctive health service. Earlier, the new comprehensive health insurance system announced that hospitals of the new system will be connected electronically to facilitate the provision of the services to citizens. It also said that the patient's data will be secured and confidential. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli has noted that the President Abdel Fattah ElSissi gave his directives to the government to focus on human development, especially education and health. The Prime Minister said that the health sector witnessed the launching of several initiatives which aim at providing health care for all citizens and treat some diseases, such as the President's initiative of 100 million healthy lives, eliminating waiting lists and early detection of breast cancer. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli said the new comprehensive health insurance system will be applied in all governorates after the experimental launching in Port Said governorate, adding that the system includes the development of the health units and hospitals. Of course, we're talking about the development of the sectors in Egypt, and here back to the health system and health sector development, and we witness a very successful start in Port Said of the insurance system for the health.
We are working with 5 governorates now, and we are umbrella of the health insurance system to cover up all citizens all over the world, all over the state. We are talking the far governorates like in Sinai, like in Upper Egypt. We're not anymore excluding some parts of Egypt from the sustainable the prosperity of this nation.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Rahman, our political analyst, always a pleasure, and have a lovely day.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, sir. And our dear viewers, that would bring us to the end of our press segment in The Breakfast Show. And now we'll go to a short break, and after that we'll be back to resume our segments in The Breakfast Show, so stay tuned.